Hi, I'm Bob Sitze. You're looking at Full of Years. Today I'm taking a walk. You can tell that. I'm in an area that Chicagoland calls a forest preserve. And these are places where the planners of yore set aside large amounts of acreage to devote to the natural world so that it would not get sucked up into developments or concrete or asphalt. And I'm taking a walk today and thinking about, so what's the good thing about walking? Especially for old folks like us. Here's some thoughts. The path behind me and the path ahead of me tell me that a walk is really a nice metaphor for life. The journey, the activity itself. And we know that walking has a physical benefits. So as I'm walking right now, blood is coursing through my veins, through my heart. It's doing good things for my bile duct, my nose, my chin, and I just made up a lot of that, but you get the idea. And so as we walk along, there are physical benefits, and we know about that. In fact, walking is probably the best kind of activity for folks who are older. It doesn't stress our limbs or our physical capabilities to a danger point. And it's pretty inexpensive, and so it doesn't require much money, and it can happen in any context. As I say, I'm in a forest preserve right now, but pretty soon I will be in a neighborhood, and so that walking is also part of what's possible. One of the things, though, that we can forget about a little bit is the scientific or physical idea that a walk is also a whole brain activity. Okay, you heard it right here. What do I mean by whole brain? Well, it's the idea that all the parts of our brain, whatever they might be, and there's a lot of them, capabilities, are energized by some things that we do, and walking is one of them. All the parts of our brain, the obviously the logical sequential stuff, the physical stuff, put one foot in front of the other, but also these emotional, imaginative, creative parts of us that sometimes don't get stretched out. And so when we walk, there's something spiritual about it too. Inspiration, to be more than a couch potato, to be my best self, to reflect with gratitude on the past, the path behind me, and on the future, the path ahead of me, to be inspired to find in whatever I do some reason for joy. There's also imagination. It's pretty hard not to walk this particular path and not imagine what it must have been like when this was a railroad right-of-way and trains would have come through here and puffing smoke and burning coal and doing whatever trains did way back then. Imagination is a part of our lives, or what our brains do well. And sometimes as we get old, we can be tempted not to imagine things and to just see what's in front of us without wondering, what if? So a walk that's whole brain can really fire up our imagination. The things we observe, the things we haven't seen before, the things that surprise us, the things that are waiting for us around the next bend. I think also a walk is a wonderful way to pray. And some of the people I know who walk a lot use it as a prayer technique or a way of praying. Not just about what you see in front of you or the wonderful benefits of the natural world, but also because a walk helps your brain soar past here and now, to think about all the other places where you've walked, all the other things that are good in life, all the needs you have. Again, what's behind you, what's in front of you, and to spend these moments perhaps alone, perhaps with somebody else, perhaps in silence, praying to God about just about everything. Remember, it's a whole brain activity. And so in a walk, our brains are firing in places where they may not in church, where they may not in other venues and in other situations. So a walk is spiritual, can be spiritual, because it allows us to pray. One of the things that always happens for me when I'm walking, and today's a good example too, is to remember gratefully that even though I'm small in the whole scheme of things, that I am protected by God, I'm taken care of by God in this larger cosmos. Another thing that spiritual is when I look around at what in the fall right here appears to be pretty dead, leaves gone, bushes scaling back, squirrels hiding in their little nests. What appears to be dead or dormant or whatever is going to come back to life. What does that mean? Even though I'm down, I can be back up. Even though I'm depressed, I don't have to stay there. Even though I will die, that's not forever. And so a walk is a time to see in the natural world what is in fact proof that life continues and that the God who gives us life will give it to us. Well, not all of my walking is in nature. In a few minutes I'm going to be walking in a neighborhood, and there's another benefit that comes from that kind of walking. Let me explain about that a little bit. Again, it's a whole brain activity. We're social animals, and a walk in the neighborhood invariably puts me, at least, in contact with people, or at least the artifacts of people. Whether it's in the winter or in the summer, there are people out. And when I walk in a neighborhood, I also think about the people who are there, who are me also walking, but also the people who live in those homes, whose lives are bound by where their car is going to go today, by the things that happen inside of homes. And when I think about the other people, I got to think about my responsibility to them. I got to think about what it means to be part of the community of humankind, what it means to do God's will among, for, and because of people. It's a time to think about what other people have done for me. These neighbors of mine, if it's in my neighborhood, these people who are doing God's will I don't even know about, these people that I depend on. And so a walk in a neighborhood adds the benefit of our whole brains looking at how we're human among humans. Another reason to be glad, to be full of years, to be joyful. So I'm coming up on the end of this walk, at least the nature part of it, and heading towards asphalt and sidewalks and people. And so it's been good to walk with you, and I want to remind you that you can do the same thing I am doing right now, and you can enjoy it as much as I am. Your whole brain can do that. So again, this is Bob Sitze, and full of years. Keep walking, okay?